Hi everyone, please the vote Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Joji album, Nectar. This is a new LP of tracks from YouTuber Gone Alternative R&B heavyweight George Miller, aka Joji. This is his second studio project, which I was pretty excited to listen to, given that his debut, despite being rough around the edges, was packed with so much potential. Plus, some of the teasers to this new record forecast quite a bit of ambition. Cinematic string sections and soaring hooks and emotionally potent vocals on Sanctuary and Run really took Joji's sound to a new level. Even when I wasn't totally blown away with the writing on Gimme Love, for example, I did walk away impressed with the lush arrangements on the back end of that track, the compositional shift that came with that. But across Nectar's 18 tracks, Joji does have a lot to reveal sonically, and not every moment is a grand crescendo. While I do appreciate the versatility, the flow of this project is a little spottier than I thought it would be. Because with Joji's attempts to change the sound or the vibe of this album up, we get tracks that are clearly underwritten and underproduced. With this project, I think we do hear an artist hitting his highest highs so far, but simultaneously struggling to find out what to do in between those moments to maintain interest and tension. Again, with Run and Sanctuary, the vocal performance, heavy lush choruses, production, structure, all top-notch. There are equally impressive highlights deeper into the record too. Daylight with Diplo was another great single, one with a decidedly vintage groove coming from the drums and bass. The chorus on this one is a juggernaut too. The whole thing feels like the grandiosity and pomp of most millennial pop, but not delivered in such a way where I want to vomit on contact. Plus, what's not to love about Joji's vocal lines and lyricism on this track too? Sun's up, I don't really want to fight the daylight. Bro is putting that hard into it. There is also the moody Modus, which does have a low-key presentation, but that doesn't stop the somber pianos and very simple, dry trap beats from creating an intensely depressive vibe when they mix with Joji's voice. This one pretty much feels like it's delivering the rawness and simplicity of his older stuff, but just now with better singing, more stunning production. Then there's Upgrade, which is a stripped back little interlude I could take or leave. TikTok has a booming, plucky beat that is pretty impressive, but it outshines the song itself. But outside of those moments, the first leg of this record is pretty killer. I mean, it could make a badass EP. But Nectar does go on from there, and past the halfway point, that's when Joji really starts to flip the script. We begin to hit occasionally forgettable features, half-baked songs, bland production, as well as weird mixes. High Hopes is where Joji and his guest, Omar, I'm gonna copy Frank Ocean here, Apollo, both underperform vocally. The beat is this really clunky, awkwardly grooved instrumental with a lot of fragmented pieces of percussion that I actually like. I think it's a creative beat. However, this style of instrumental, you need to throw a vocal line, a song on top of it that is sweet, sticky, fiery to take the edge off the oddity of the beat itself. Rather than that, Joji and Omar mostly stay out of the way of the instrumental, not doing anything of note melodically or lyrically. There is also Nitrous, which I think might be the most pointless song on this entire thing. Beat is cheap as hell, vocal soulless, and the chord progression kind of reminds me of that one from the joint Joji did with Clams Casino a few years back. Afterthought with Benny is easily one of the best written songs here, but the impact of it for me would have been larger if it had been given the same instrumental treatment as a Run or a Sanctuary. Sadly, the whole thing is left feeling deflated and basic because it's arranged so similarly to the most forgettable songs on the project. There is just such a wide separation in terms of the instrumental detail that some songs are receiving and some aren't, with no real effort made to make it all gel as an album. Following this, there are more sonic detours with mixed results. 777 sees Joji suddenly going in on this synth-strumental with a peppy beat and an 80s 80s flair. Vaguely, it reminds me of something from The Weeknd's recent LP, but not quite as well produced, as the whole mix is feeling really thin. There are a lot of great transitions and sections of this song, but the instrumental, the sound of it never really blossoms. It just feels really flat and hollow. The dynamics aren't really there. Then there was Reanimator with Yves Tumor, a track I was pretty excited to hear because given the backgrounds of both of these artists and the moods they typically go for in their music, this could be a great crossover. But much of this track is taken over by this massive synthy, droney, abstract intro, which honestly I don't mind. I love the thickness of it. I love the texture of it. I love how heavy and abstract it is. But the payoff past this point isn't really there. As we transition out of this section, Joji's vocal input is minimal at best. Yves Tumor kind of takes over from there, and once we start getting some momentum going with a driving dance beat, the track is pretty much over. So yes, I do have quite a few criticisms of the second half of this thing. Regardless, though, there are some highlights that do turn up in this section. There is Pretty Boy with Lil Yachty, and yeah, I know maybe on the surface this one sounds like a very rough, somewhat lo-fi, whacked out version of a track from Ballads. The noisy guitars and booming beat and strange sampled vocal noises and yelps, can't quite tell what they are, but they are goofy. Either way, I find the song here so infectious and left field and funny in a way. Even Yachty himself sounds like he's recaptured the fun-loving youth of his SoundCloud days. Yeah, sonically it's not exactly consistent with much of anything on the first half of the record, but it still stands out by virtue of being one of the record's few true blue bangers. Then Mr. Hollywood, with production from none other than Kenny Beats, feels like a celebration of the foundation of the simple, trap-influenced rhythms, the forlorn pianos, and the vocals that went into Joji's early stuff, but then trying to elevate that once again with more harmonies, more layers, really making it lush, making it emotionally powerful. Joji's vocal performance, too, is something to behold. Mr. Hollywood, won't you come back soon? The dramatic Like I Do ends things off on this record with a high note as well, as does the song Your Man, which gives this LP a triumphant finish. Truly a feel-good moment on the record where we have the lyrics and the vocals not quite feeling like they're in a place of despair, very much reading like a situation where you've loved, you've lost, and then that love has come back around, you've let it go, and then you find out it's true love because it's returning. Never thought Joji would sound this good over such an overt dance instrumental, but yeah, it works. So overall, did I enjoy this LP? Yes. Quite a few tracks from it. Yes, I think it is a better release than Ballads. My most favorite Joji tracks ever turn up here, but simultaneously, big picture on the record, big picture on the track list, it is pretty unfocused and pretty inconsistent. Too many moments that could have either been cut entirely or redrawn for a stronger result. I'm feeling a decent 2 strong 6 on this one. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Joji, Nectar, forever.